Carowinds. We've seen them remove Nighthawk, Drop Tower, and Vortex this year. But what's next? What could get removed in the next coming years? What's next after Nighthawk, Drop Tower, and Vortex? What's the next roller coaster? What's the next flat ride? Well, let's look at all of the stats from 2024 and see what rides were most operational and what rides were least operational. And then we'll put this together to determine what rides I think are going to be leaving Carowinds within the next 10 years. Starting the list with the most recent removal that I believe will be taking place, with that being Vortex and Ripcord. Ripcord, I thought they would remove with Nighthawk, but they chose not to. And I think they're going to let it run for maybe another season before they determine what they would like to do with the Nighthawk plot of land if a decision has not already been made. And when they're ready to make the Nighthawk replacement announcement, I do think they will announce that Ripcord is leaving us. Ripcord takes up a lot of space, and that space could be used for future attractions. So it makes sense that Ripcord is leaving us. Vortex, it might not cost a lot to run that ride, but its ridership levels are super low, and it does not operate that often. So, what's after Nighthawk and Ripcord? Well, unfortunately, I think that Slingshot and Kitty Hawk are going to be leaving us. Along with Slingshot and Kitty Hawk, I believe that Carolina Cyclone will be biting the dust. Carolina Cyclone is eventually going to run out of parts, along with reaching its expiration date. All roller coasters reach an expiration date, and Carolina Cyclone is at that expiration date. It's hard to find parts for these old arrows, and it's just not worth it to maintain these rides for the ridership levels that they receive. We've already seen Cedar Fair and Six Flags remove many arrow coasters, such as Vortex at Kings Island, and it's believed that Corkscrew at Cedar Point will be leaving in the coming years. We've also seen them remove arrows at other parks, like King's Dominion removing Anaconda this year. So that's what I think will be happening with Carolina Cyclone. I do think that's going to run out of parts and reach its expiration date and end of service life. So either Carowinds will have to do a major refurbishment like Loch Ness Monster on Carolina Cyclone, or they will have to unfortunately choose to close it. Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk, you can just see that Carowinds is not maintaining Kitty Hawk to their best of their abilities, and I could see them removing Ripcord and Kitty Hawk at the same time, mostly because that would just open up a huge plot of land, and Kitty Hawk doesn't do that much. It might get a high ridership level some days, but not all the days. And now that we have Snoopy's Racing Railway coming, I don't see Kitty Hawk having any use here. Sure, it's another filling ride for those kids that are still getting used to coasters, but I think that we could see Carowinds investing in a major family thrill attraction instead of Kitty Hawk. Plus, Kitty Hawk's hourly rider count is insanely low due to its one train and 2 seats across. Alright, let's look at Slingshots. Slingshot's another one of those upcharge attractions like Ripcord, and Slingshot just does not receive the amount of ridership Carowinds is looking for. Plus, it's an expensive ride to maintain, and we've seen more Six Flags parks removing these upcharge attractions over the years. So, it's pretty simple with Slingshot. It's pretty much obvious that it's going to reach the end of its life sooner than later, and it's just when Carowinds wants to pull the plug at this point. Alright, off to everyone's favorite ride, Hurler. Hurler is pretty much not loved by anyone. It is, well, I wouldn't say it's not loved by anyone. It does feature, I believe, the 4th or 5th highest rider count at Carowinds, and that's just due to its family nature and mild experience. So it's more attracting to these younger kids that are still getting used to roller coasters. But Hurler let's pray RMC Hurler, one of these days it might happen. And I see it happening within the next 10 years. Hurler is just getting beyond rough to the point where why keep it around? And finally, the last ride I see going in the coming years is Electrospin. Electrospin is the most unreliable ride at Carowinds in my opinion, before Nighthawk closed of course. Electrospin, it goes down very often, like we saw at Knott's Berry Farm on the same model. They had to do a 2 to 3 hour evacuation that was very time consuming. It was not dangerous at any point, but it was just time consuming. So, Electrospin, I don't see having a major future at Carowinds, but I still think it has some time. An honorable mention here, going to a ride I kind of thought about adding to this list, and that's Carolina Gold Rusher. It's the oldest ride at Carowinds, and it's kind of getting harder to maintain, but I see them continuing to maintain this ride to the best of their abilities, and keeping it around a little longer. It's a great ride for families, all of them. Anyone can basically ride it, so I see them keeping it around. Plus, old arrows like that are very simple to maintain, unlike Carolina Cyclone, which is another type of aero coaster, which is harder to maintain. The mine trains are easier too. Plus, we've already seen them start annual maintenance on Carolina Gold Rusher, so it's definitely staying around this year. I can't say the same about future years, but we know Carolina Gold Rusher is staying this year. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time on Carolina Coasters.